My 25M girlfriend, 27F, is still visiting her ex's house. We have been dating for about 6 months now, and she broke up with her ex over a year ago now. However, I found out from her that she is still visiting his place to see her ex's dog that she misses. For context, she was dating him for 4 years and they lived together for a large portion of it. They also got a dog from a shelter during their relationship. Understandably, she became attached to the dog. However, she is still wanting to see the dog. She considers the dog her dog, even though the dog is registered under her ex's name. I found out about a month and a half ago that she still has keys to his place, and visits on occasion. Recently, I brought up how weird it is, and I told her how much it bothers me. I also said to her, if we were married, would you still be visiting your ex's dog? How would I be able to tell to other people that my wife is visiting her ex's house to play with his dog? She agreed that it was weird, but she just said, I'm sorry, but just how things are right now. She also told me that if it comes to marriage between us, she is willing to not see the dog anymore in order to not jeopardize our marriage. However, she also added that she will never get over the fact that she will never see her dog again. She assured me that there is nothing going on between her and her ex, and she visits when he's not home. I also remembered that she left her bike at her ex's because her current place was too small. She went to go get her bike this past Sunday so we can go bike riding when I come back from my business trip. Her ex doesn't work Sunday. I confronted my girlfriend on this, and she said, well, I only saw him in passing because he was going to the gym. She had plenty of time Saturday to get her bike, but whatever. She again assured me that there isn't anything going on, and that I needed to trust her. I'm not entirely sure if I can. I will admit it's a bit of jealousy on my part. In her previous relationship, she had a lot of sex with her then boyfriend. She also had sex with him on a few occasions after they broke up, months before we met. However, in our relationship, sex is not an option because she now decided to save it for marriage. I have enough self-control and respect for her to make her decision our decision, but the fact that she is still visiting the house of a man whom she had the most intimate form of contact with, on a countless number of occasions, feels like a punch in my gut. I wanted to ask advice from my friends, but I feel like I already know what their answers will all be. Any advice, criticism will be greatly appreciated. Edit. I know that a lot of the comments are harping that she is now not having sex until marriage. That is true that she had sex plenty of times with her ex, but not with me. However, we have done everything just short of sex itself. Despite that, it still bothers me that she doesn't want to be that intimate with me. I completely understand what you all are saying. Her previous boyfriend did not have any empathy for her, and she told me that she should have left years ago, but wasn't mature at the time to do so. But now she wants to do things differently. I respect that, for the most part. But I am still very conflicted on how she is still visiting his place from time to time. She had sex with him, but won't have sex with you. How many times do I have to explain this? Nope, break up with her. She had sex with him, but you are not good enough for her. Not good enough to have sex with nor to stop visiting her ex. Just leave, and maybe try to find some respect for yourself. I'm sorry, that's just how things are. That tells you how accountable she feels for her actions. She is 27 and completely discounting your feelings? Now she decides to save herself for marriage? It's a lot harder to be walked on when you're standing up. Your girlfriend have a boyfriend buddy. My 30F husband's 32M sister hates me and I feel like I'm failing my marriage. I have been with my husband for 8 years. He's 32 and I'm 30. When I first met him he was close with his sister, but she disliked me immediately. She wanted him to get back with her ex. She refused to speak to me, would turn her back on me when I arrived, and got away from me as quick as possible. Anything I did say was met with immediate judgment and gossiping about me to everyone else in the family. I'm a little awkward and an introvert, but I can definitely hold a conversation, so this was rough. Unfortunately, this hasn't really changed. She does greet me now and act technically polite but still gets away from me as quickly as she can. We're invited to big family events but often left out of smaller ones and told about them later. He used to see his sister weekly. Now we maybe see them once every 3 months. I've tried reaching out and had times when I thought we were connecting only for her to go back to avoiding me. My husband always sides with me, but I know he misses his sister and I feel like a terrible wife, as well as extremely unlikable. She is definitely the golden child in his family, so everyone follows her lead. I honestly don't know why she doesn't like me except for the fact that maybe I'm just not like Abel. I don't really have this problem with anyone else, but I can't help feeling horrible about myself being around his family. It's like an uphill battle. I've spent years trying to figure out why she doesn't like me. Did I say the wrong thing? Is she still wanting his ex back after all these years? Am I just an uncool loser? Haha, I'm like reverting back to my high school self sometimes, and I just can't quite figure it out. I feel like anything I've ever done that was wrong, maybe being too quiet one time, undersharing, oversharing, literally anything, is branded on me forever, even though I can't think of one time that anything big happened. My husband has asked her about it in the past and she basically brushed it off and said she's shy, but she's not shy with other people and manages to plan plenty of events. In the past few years, she has gotten a babysitter for her kids weekend after weekend and gone away or gone to dinners with his other siblings, their spouses, cousins, etc., but never us. We find out about her kids' birthday parties after the fact, or are invited by his parents, even though my husband is their godfather. I will say that my husband has stopped taking initiative to plan things with them, and I feel badly, but I just don't have it in me to try and plan things and be rejected. I feel so horrible when we do hang out with them, but also feel awful when we don't because I know it hurts my husband, despite how much he tries to support me and says he's okay with it. Am I a bad wife for not trying harder? Should I work to get over my feelings and hang out with them more, me always doing the inviting anyways, or just try to let this go? Your life will improve immeasurably if you just stop trying. Do you know the old joke about the couple at the restaurant complaining that the food is awful and the portions are too small? You are very lucky woman. Your husband's crass, unmannerly sister avoids you. You need to recognize that this is a huge stroke of good fortune. Your husband doesn't mind and neither should you. Now you have more time to spend with people that you actually like. You are doing nothing wrong, and you are not the reason your husband feels hurt. His sister is a bad person, and she is the problem. You are not failing your husband. He loves you, he supports you, and he stands by you. His sister is the entire problem, and you just need to accept that there's nothing you can do to make her like you. She has decided to be a miserable person, for whatever reason, and that's all there is. Let her live in her little hateful world, and you two move on with your lives. Was his ex-GF a longtime BFF of hers? It sounds like she doesn't care about her brother, so she's punishing him. Because she really wanted her BFF to be her sister-in-law. Do you know why the ex and he broke up? I'd laugh pretty hard if she cheated on him. Not because of his pain, but because that shows his sister doesn't care for him at all. Ignore the sister, be good to your husband. He clearly wants you. But he needs to see his sister for what she is. Maybe she's still friends with that ex and that's why, or just feelings from those times have been preserved. But don't pay any attention to her, let her see that she doesn't even exist for you in this world. That's how you don't care about her. I'm 30M, meeting up with my ex, 25F, 8 months after our breakup, 18 months. Too long did not read. I'm meeting up with ex, 8 months after breaking up. We were in a hybrid long-distance relationship, and she broke up with me due to our life values not being similar. Looking for advice regarding this meet-up. Thanks. I'm 30M. Going to be having dinner with my ex, 25F, next Wednesday. We were in a hybrid long-distance relation. I was there half the year, and we were long-distance the other half. She lives in NYC, and I live in London, UK, but used to spend half of time in NYC, which wasn't entirely due to her being there, but played a significant role. We were together 18 months. We broke up as she claimed that our life values did not align. Then met someone else very soon afterwards. Yes, I'm aware she was most likely seeing him before we broke up. I do know she had already met him prior to our breakup. I'm also aware they were not together long. In fact, she didn't explicitly break up with. She told me she had started seeing another guy, something I am a little resentful that she could not just have said, "Look, I don't think we're working." We have only shared a couple of messages since the breakup really. I did receive some angry messages in May, June that I chose not to reply to. Then in late June, she made the suggestion of meeting up when she would be in the UK in August, to which I said I would think about, but never got back to her after that, and then last week contacted me if I wished to meet up still, to which I have agreed to and just replied with a place and a time. I have some worries about meeting up with her, seeing as I had coped with the breakup reasonable well, and my feelings for her have reduced a lot during this period of time, but she had suggested we do so as she would be in the UK for a conference. I thought I would give her the benefit of the doubt. I have to say most of my friends either think this is waste of time, or are letting her play games, as she did use to attempt emotional manipulation from time to time. She also messaged me this evening telling me she was in Georgia, country. And it was somewhere we had intended to go together, as I speak Georgian due to studying linguistics and Georgian for my bachelor's. So I have no idea if that's coincidence or something else. Skeptical smiley face. I am expecting this to be a one-time just chat-up meeting, and nothing more than that. I don't really know what I would feel about it being any different than that. I wonder what you guys and gals think. Many thanks. Edit. Thank you for the advice everyone. I have cancelled and she's blocked me. It would have been a waste of my time, and frankly she's not worth my giving her my attention, and I feel for any guys that do so for her in the future. Significant other. Thank you all very much for helping on this issue. I have taken the majority advice. Thanks again. I wouldn't do it. It's just going to make you feel things again and set you back. What's the point of meeting up now? I'm a strong believer of a clean break. Otherwise it can get messy and dramatic and life is just too damn short. I think you're a mug if you even give her the time of day. No, she is trying to come back to a safe place. That's why these hints. As a girl who is 25 in NYC, I believe she loves you but she's just playing with you at this point. Move on. Trust me. She believes she can do better and she may or may not. Probably won't. But she thinks she can. Either way, let it go. I promise you can find someone you like just as much if not more. She feels like you will give her an ego boost and give her the attention she isn't getting elsewhere. You deserve someone who values you. How do I, 48M, convince my wife, 53F, that we are not poor? My wife and I have been together for 25 years. During that time we have shared all household expenses evenly, particularly since both of our incomes have been broadly in step over that time. Around 5 years ago, however, my wife decided to quit her job due to stress, a decision I supported. She then subsequently decided that she had effectively retired, a decision that took me somewhat by surprise, but wasn't too concerning since she had, in recent years, received a sizable inheritance, which she believed would be enough to get her through to the point where she would start receiving her pension. Since then, however, it has become clear that her share of our spending is more than her savings can support. And obviously the recent issues with the economy have exacerbated this. My view is that I should pick up the excess expenditure, since my salary is more than enough to compensate. However, my wife is very prideful and independent, and insists that she must continue to pay half of our expenditure and it would be shameful if she needs to rely on me. The effectively means that our spending must be reduced to compensate, which means that my wife now puts all costs under the microscope. The result of this is that I am saving money hand over fist, due to our reduced spending. While she gets stressed and worries about her future, she is now considering returning to work in a limited manner. It is worth saying that I have always considered all household income to be our income, so if one of us gets a pay rise, effectively the household gets a pay rise. My wife, however, has always considered our money to be completely separate, and while my pay rise may be good for me, it has no impact on her. So, how do I convince my wife that we are not poor? Only she is, and it is perfectly normal for one partner to take on the majority of the costs? If she would just let me take my proportional share of the burden, it would make both of our lives much less stressful. As it is, I am saving money into multiple pots, in the hope that I can convince her to use it for things like household repairs and our daughter's education. However, since she refuses this money, since she can't match it, all that happens is that I get richer but the household stress remains the same, or gets worse. How do we get out of this situation? Too long did not read. My non-working wife refuses to accept me paying more than 50% of household expenses despite my well-paid job, which means our spending is limited by what she can afford, which makes things very stressful. How do I convince her to accept my money? No advice, but I relate as the lower earning person. I feel like a fuck up and contributing more makes me feel like less of a fuck up, but I have health problems, so oh well. Doing my best to embrace it. While also focusing on earning more. If your wife wants finances to be separate and not accept your contributions as shared finances, then tell her to get a part-time job to fund her spending habits. Honestly, she'll probably be happier making her own money. Wow, finally someone on here that's my age. After all this time of doing your finances this way, this must be how she is comfortable. If you were going to fully share the time for that was 25 years ago. If this is how she needs it to be comfortable, let her get a part-time job, because watching every penny is no way to live at all. Send 50,000 to a complete stranger like it's nothing. PM me for further details. This is less a money issue and more a purpose and contribution issue. She doesn't want to feel beholden to you or like the junior partner. From her perspective, the only way you can be equal is if you're both constrained to what she can afford. If you truly don't need her financial contribution, she can try working through this in therapy. Otherwise, I suggest she get at least a part-time job. If she feels like she's contributing financially beyond her savings, inheritance, she'll value herself more and hopefully won't see a need to build in tighter spending rules.